Previously, we created an ammo class here inside Unity, and you can see that listed here in the Asset Scenes ammo creation folder inside the project panel. This script file should be attached to an ammo prefab object, and it effectively hides that object after a specified time. This is a good beginning for simulating the appearance of ammo destruction without actually destroying the object. But I want to focus now on the process of ammo generation. I mentioned previously that what we're going to do is generate a batch or a pool of ammo objects when the level begins, and all we do afterwards is simply control when the object is hidden and shown to simulate ammo creation and destruction. To manage this process, we're going to create a completely new object called the Ammo Manager. To get started at doing that, I'm going to create a completely new and empty object in the scene. This class will act as a singleton object. So I'm going to move up here to the File menu and choose Game Object, and then select Create Empty. And I'm going to name this Ammo Manager here, and then press Enter on the keyboard. And again, this is going to be an object. It doesn't really matter where in the scene it's positioned. So I'm just going to position it at the world origin for clearness here. So 0, 0, 0 on X, Y, and Z. I'm going to turn back to the project panel and create a completely new script file. So I'm going to right click here, choose Create, and then select C# script. And I'll name this script Ammo Manager here and press Enter on the keyboard. I'll double click that to open it inside the MonoDevelop editor. And here we are inside MonoDevelop. So here is the Ammo Manager object. Now this is going to work in a very specific sense. The first thing I want to do is I want to identify the prefab that we'll need to instantiate at the level beginning. So I'm going to create a reference to the ammo object here. So that's going to be public game object, and I will call this ammo prefab. I'll assign that the initial variable of null. The next thing I want to do is to specify how many of these ammo objects we should generate when the level begins. We need to specify how large the batch or the pool size of ammo object should be. I'm going to specify an initial value of 100, but of course I'm going to make this a public property so that we have the ability to customize and change this as we move along. Now, once we've done that, of course, I'm going to need to create an array of these ammo objects. So we're going to generate an array of these ammo objects. So to do that, I'm going to create an array here, which is going to be game object. I'm going to use the array subscript operator here and specify an ammo array. So I'm going to call this ammo array. Now this is going to be a private variable. We don't need to have access to this inside the object inspector. And then finally, of course, I'm going to create the static singleton instance that's going to make this object a static object here, or rather a singleton object. So I'm going to choose static, and I'm going to call this Ammo Manager here. So Ammo Manager, and I'll call this Ammo Manager, and I'll call it singleton, and again assign that the initial variable of null. Now, of course, let's go ahead and take care of the singleton functionality here. So inside the awake function, one of the first things that I want to do here is to identify whether any previous instance of this class has been created previously. If it has, then we should in fact destroy this object. So I'm going to choose if Ammo Manager singleton here, if this is not equal to null, then a previous instance is already active, in which case we should destroy this object and then exit the function completely here. So I'm going to return here. So I'm going to destroy the object and then return. However, if we reach this stage, for example, then it simply means that this is the first time this object has been created. So this object should become the singleton object. So I'm going to choose singleton and it equals this. I'm going to press Ctrl S on the keyboard. That's pretty much all we need to do to achieve the singleton functionality. Next, we're ready to move on to take care of the pool generation, that is generating the ammo array.